No, I'm not. You sure? I'm gonna block you. You can write. Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah, we're about to go live with Brother Dwann B. Just a moment. Just a second. Just a second. Let me hold on before I even do this. Okay, we're about to turn this around. Give me exactly one more second. We had a technical thing. I don't know why they changed some of these format things. It creates confusion, especially when the thing works. There you go. There. Hmm. Damn, he didn't do that.
Hello?
Did you text me to this number?
Oh, man, I thought I did. Let me do it again.
Okay. Just need to get that tied in and we're good. From different angles. See if this is going to come through. Ah, here it is. Okay.
Hello?
Okay, Dwann, is this what I needed to do?
Yep.
Just okay.
I don't feel like, honestly, I don't feel like getting on camera.
Okay,
So
well,
we're just going to do everything off camera.
it's fine.
All right. So I'm getting ready to go live. Basically, we're going to talk about Elon Musk and leaving and Trump, but then after that, basically wherever you want to go. Okay?
That's cool.
All right,
That's
let
cool.
me get started. What's up, everybody? Everybody on Patreon, everybody on that are members on the channel, we have an exclusive talk with Dr. Randy Short. No, I'm not on camera, and neither is Dr. Short. Lock on in the background here, and I did not want to get this camera lit up. But you know how I look. You know how Dr. Short looks. So, and what matters more than anything else is not how anybody looks, but what we are saying. With that being said, welcome everybody here. Welcome everybody. Please do not share this link. So I want Dr. Short to be able to say whatever he feels like saying. And I don't want none of y'all doing no weird shit, posting nothing out there because, hey, this is for behind the paywall. So he can go where he wants because, you know, YouTube has been, well, we all know, I'm not about to keep talking about YouTube. You know that whole story. But anyway, welcome everybody, and I want to welcome Dr. Randy Short. How's it going, Dr. Short?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm very, very good. And well, at least recovering. You know, it's been like months of weird stuff, health stuff, everything.
Yeah.
And
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so all is well. Mhm, mhm, mhm.
You there?
Yes, I'm here. So, you know, I
Okay,
am
cool.
just, man, strained my back last week. And so now, but everything's good. Now we're watching. I mean, and this is really exciting stuff. What's happening? I mean, but we're gonna what? We're gonna talk about Elon, or how do you want to start off? There's so many things to
I want to
discuss.
start off talking about, I want to start off because, you know, we were the ones saying it months ago before he even took office that Elon Musk does not have long with Donald Trump.
Right. And we
I
were saying,
want to start off
right.
with Elon Musk.
Right. Well, I call them Eat My Butt, but because it almost sounds like his name. I was telling you what back in January that two people, Scamaswamy or vasectomy, whatever you want to call him, he may not even clear the inauguration, but I said, I'll give it to February just to be humorous. February. And he didn't clear the inauguration. Remember? I did that on your show.
Mm-hmm.
I said Elon Musk
Swami,
with
whatever the hell his name is.
Scamaswamy. I said that Musk wouldn't clear or make it to Pride Month. It's just not, and there's some very basic reasons for it. Elon Musk doesn't know America. He's not really in any way an American. He is selfish. He's self-centered. He's got a lot of problems with people wherever he goes, and he's basically a out of control person who's been able to get other people's money and get rich, not unlike his boss. And as a result, when you have a person with that kind of ego, and they have no tact, no introspection, nothing like that, and you're working in a bureaucracy and you're in politics. It's not like business where you can be nasty to everybody and it works like that. When you deal with people, you've got to have some ability on a certain level to deal with other people and understand how people feel. Elon Musk has an accountability deficit, an empathy deficit, a morality deficit. Not saying that other people in this administration don't have the same, but he's got it in spades, and he may have more than people who have more authority or power than he has. In addition to that, he deceived people. He led people to think that he really cared about this MAGA stuff, and that he would be supporting making America great again and all of this stuff. That's what you sold people, and that's not exactly what's happened. There's a thing or two that maybe that's good that's come out of all this madness, but a lot of stuff looks like he's just trying to get all the contracts for himself. It looks like a self-serving, plutocratic, kleptocratic, techno-feudalist monster. And and so you gave Trump's campaign, you gave a couple people $100 million, but to the millions of people who you've messed with their jobs, you're talking about slashing all Social Security, all SNAP. I mean, you're talking about destroying millions of people's lives, deregulating the treatment of water. You're not going to inspect the food for all of the just insane stuff that wasn't perfect, but at least you had something. You're coming trying to make America worse than the South Africa you left. Right? I mean, we don't like, who cares about the Department of Education? We hope they close down. Who wants to pay the loans back? I don't. Okay. We don't like the Department of Education. We know the USAID is an enemy to Black people, and it's for population control to get rid of us. So a couple of things they did was okay. But when you start talking about attacking Medicaid, Medicare, that's tens of millions of people. I mean, who are you? You're a billionaire. You don't have to think about anything, really. You don't even have to think about
the back. This is a billionaire that I talked about earlier. He's got close to $40 billion in government handouts.
Yeah.
40 billion.
But he's worried about you getting some suppositories. He's worried about you getting some food assistance. You know, you're slashing people, you're ruining people's careers, pensions, all of that. And you've got, in fact, let me just say this, because this is how I feel about Elon Musk. I feel like he's a high-tech Diddy. It'll come out. I'm saying it's going to come out. I can wait. He is a very, very, very evil man. I've been saying this all along. He's an evil man. He's a racist man. He's a godless man. He has no morality. He has no soul. And that can even, see, initially, Elon Musk rode on the wave. Oh my God, they're going to come in and they're going to dog Black people. You know, I don't know what it is, and I don't guess it'll ever get around, that white Americans imagine that they don't get any of these social spending. As insane as that seems, they've got it in their heads that it all goes to undeserving Black people. Just us. Not even the other people in the country, not Latinos, just Black Americans get everything, and white people get nothing. That's like saying that the slaves got rich off of cotton production and white people starved. Right. They've got this reality that's so sick. It's sort of like them saying all the white people being killed in South Africa. South Africa, the number that the president gave today, I don't believe it. I believe the president of South Africa lied today, but he didn't lie about the number of white people that were killed. He lied about the number of people that were killed in South Africa in general. Because South Africa clears 30, 40,000 murders a year. He gave maybe half. That's a lie. Anybody, let me just grab one of my phones. South Africa may have like 40,000 murders in a year. And he said 20. If 20,000 people died and maybe 5 of them were white, that don't sound like no genocide. That sounds like the average white gun nut in America decides he's going to destroy his whole family because he's white male and he'll probably get a book and a movie deal out of it. Not genocide, just some regular, oh, I'm white, I don't have to be accountable, and the judge is a male, and we probably are in the same kiddie porn club, and therefore he'll go light on me. I'll get like 2 consecutive life sentences, but who cares, right? And I'll be on good behavior and probably get back out and do the same thing. If you tell me less than 20 white people got killed in a country of 60, 65 million people, that's astounding, given the history of white folks mass murdering and oppressing blacks in South Africa. You're crying about 5 people?
Yeah.
I mean, when you sit down, you think about it. Think about it this way: the black man in Rappahannock, Virginia, that shot the dudes playing with this doorbell at 3 a.m, and then you get the guy Hinton that they said ran over the cop in Cincinnati, Ohio, and then you got Carmelo, right? I mean, just those 3 is more than 50% of the death rate of whites being killed last year in South Africa. That's just 3 incidents. If he says like 7 or 5, God, if you're understanding me. But back to Elon Musk. Look, what Elon Musk did was he was too white for his own good. I knew that was coming the same way Ramaswamy got too white. A lot of people don't understand whiteness. What they do know is that they're not black, okay, but what does white mean? And normally they don't think about that. Ramaswamy was like talking like he was equal and all that, instead of being, like he was driving the trash truck for Trump. They loved that. And he was driving Miss Daisy in the trash truck. But the second, you start mouthing off at white aides like the racist ass GCP named Stephen Miller, he is Donald Trump's brain. He's a racist GCP that just completely hates black Americans in particular, hates all black people. Okay, now understand how he's going to see Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy probably crossed Steve Miller, and that's one of the reasons he got dogged. Now, in the case of Elon Musk and them are pro-Nazi, and Steve Miller is Jewish, GCP. So understand, here I am, the most important person that talks to Trump. And there's this white South African who supports Nazism and basically supports Hitler and all that. And I don't want him to have too much power. So I'm going to be looking at him real closely, pouring poison into Donald Trump's ear every time Elon does something. And of course, it has nothing to do with me being GCP, that I don't like the Afrikaner Nazi. I just love America. Right? Now, that's a piece. But you see, one of the things that happened, and he is a narcissist, and so is the president. When people began, I knew it was going to happen. We were talking about it. If people keep talking like Elon is bigger than Trump, Trump's not going to like it. He's got to have the biggest dick in the room, even if it's the size of a thimble. Now, if you're running around saying that you can pole vault with yours and I got a thimble, eventually I'm going to get mad. Like, who's present here? And they kept doing that when the the New York Times started saying that Elon Musk was getting all sorts of confidential information that's supposed to go to the president in his presidential daily briefing, and getting stuff on China and all security stuff that he's not supposed to have, doesn't have security clearance or anything. It started making Donald Trump look stupid. It made Donald Trump's people look like they were incompetent. that they weren't following protocol of office. And what happened is his white South African pride inadvertently took a shit on white American pride. And people began to say, someone needs to clip his balls off.
Yeah.
And everybody had shears. So right after that, remember, Donald Trump responded that it's not true, that he wasn't going and he wasn't getting this information, which he was most certainly was getting. And people started saying, we got to fix this. This is out of control. We just talked about Biden not running the country and Biden being just an old, sick person that's being used. Trump's beginning to look like an old person being manipulated by younger people. I don't think Trump didn't like that. Trump's people didn't like it. A lot of MAGA people didn't like it. And then, again, this dude profiteering when he's cutting stuff all across the country, when these people in Congress are going back, trying to explain, and this stuff, I call it doggy, you call it Doge. I call it doggy. Doggy is slashing all these special benefits that these old white-haired racist white people need. And one thing about white people, I love them. White people are consistent. They want what they want when they want it, and they want it now, and they always want it the way that they want it. You can't switch up with them, right? So you got them, particular people getting agricultural grants, and the things that then you're gonna just slash all this stuff and cut all this, and you're gonna take all this. These people are used to it. They talk trash about government spending. What they really mean is don't give anything to Black people, but certainly don't cut us. That's why everybody's upset when FEMA didn't help the people in North Carolina, in Western North Carolina. And they just left their asses there. And people were shocked. This isn't New Orleans. That's what they should have said. Yeah. This isn't the Ninth Ward. Where is everybody? We've been brutalizing niggers and other inferior people to hold up the white order, and there's no help. Sort of like that movie, what's it called? Patriot Games? No, Clear and Present Danger. Remember when the guys are in Colombia and they get abandoned, they get wiped out, and the guys are calling on the radio and they shut the mission down and they're letting the guerrillas wipe them out? That's how the white folk will feel. Like, damn, we've had the back of a white oligarchs and y'all gonna cut our stuff off? And they've been flipping. And you know what? Because Elon made himself so visible, his little ugly, he looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger with Down syndrome. He does.
He looks like Rosie from the Jetsons.
Oh, okay. No, Rosie from the Jetsons is lovable. He looks like a Terminator. He looks like a Pride Month Terminator 2 or 4, whatever, right? And so he became so well known until this is policy happening under the presidential administration of Donald Trump. But the name that's circulating isn't Trump. It's Musk hogging attention. And then something else happened. The same people that he's cutting benefits for are out here schlepping, fighting to protect these Tesla vehicles. And Tesla cars look like crackhead Batmobiles anyway. But if you like it, they won't take it back. You can't trade the shit in. It's sort of like illegals once they get in here with too many bastards. Nobody want to take them. Okay, look. So these people out here fighting for him, and he's getting contracts and stuff, and you're slashing the social safety net for the superior people, not for the inferior Blacks. See, when you say cutting government jobs, there are places where very few Blacks get work, like the Park Service. I worked in the Park Service. Yeah. This is a racist. They're white folks barely have a high school degree, getting good government money, being a ranger in Montana or Idaho. I mean, barely working, hanging a cabin, reading. I'm just telling you, I worked as a ranger. It's cool. Chill. Great work. and you get to talk to people and eat and parties. Those are jobs white folks get, and they get to play with the animals and they cut the grass.
Minimally skilled.
I mean, all of these jobs are all over the country. When you start slashing that, their ideas, you want to attack the black postal worker. They've been removing black postal workers for years. That's why the mail service has gone to shit. They've been removing black people from all kinds of stuff. Basically made black folks leave the army. And the way that they dog the vets, nobody's trying to go up in that shit. So, I mean, cutting the government stuff isn't necessarily getting black people. There are a lot of white contractors who have the government contracts, people going killing people in other countries and stuff, lying, being rewarded for doing all kinds of atrocities, whatever. People they're here in DC. I mean, a lot of them have sexuality issues. They all get 6-figure part-time contract work through the government. It's almost a giveaway. If you're white and you don't like black people, here's your check, right? And live in an area and displace people from an urban area, and we'll really look out for you. These are the people getting cut. And they came out, started fighting. This, what began to happen, is a civil war between white folks, white people who are used to getting the government giveaways and having the government jobs. Now, these are things that are high paying, right? And consist in the midst of one of the worst economies we've had in 80 years. And you're slashing everything while grabbing for yourself. And then you got people fighting for your little crooked company, which has the inferior electrical cars. And you're slashing them too. And a lot of people say, hey, wait, you're not even from here. And you start saying stuff, and then you got all of these dumb fuck young white guys, like the one named Big Balls. And so that was very Diddy-like for me. He has all these young, unmarried white dudes who don't wash, who all live in the same place together. It sounds like some queer fraternity type thing. And they go around being nasty to everybody, going and demanding things, demanding people's social security numbers, their private information. I mean, there are people who are paying to get LifeLock and all this stuff to keep their identity from being stolen. And these people coming around violating every constitutional right, every immunity that you have as an American citizen. And you're like, God. And nobody reins in, no questions, there's no hearings. You just do it. We're young, we're white. We don't get any pussy. Fuck you. What's your social? Right. What's your medical information? I mean, do you realize, you can't even talk to people about their HIPAA stuff. You can get fired. How do these people get all this stuff? And they haven't been vetted. Who are they? Have they even had a security clearance? I used to have a security clearance to work in the State Department and all this other stuff. They didn't have to go through any. I mean, that's amazing. And then the other thing that I have to say that's really cool is they came up with a new word for nigger, DEI. And initially, everybody's excited. They were saying DEI, and they really wanted to say DIE, like die, nigger, die, but it's DEI. And that's a new word for saying nigger. And they began slashing and destroying everything without forgetting what I said to you back in January. The people that Ramaswamy needs to worry about, and I could have said that about Elon Musk, is white women who have gotten all of the things that black men have died for, mass incarcerated for, shot down by the police and everything else, homeless, and sometimes black women, has been given to white women. And so all of the hate equity of all the government spending and programs, this stupid stuff like we want to make Italian ice with tranny semen. And here's $1 million. What flavor do you think it'll come in? Well, they're Chinese. I think it'll be lemonade, right? And it's like, okay, all right. Sounds great, right? Do you need office space, right? That's crazy, right? All of that stuff is going to goofy ass white women that should be at home fucking having white kids since you like being and love being white so much. Make some white life instead of making black, brown, and everybody else life miserable because you hate so much. Learn how to bake some cookies. Screw your man. mean, make some
Yeah.
organic Viagra. God, please do something other than and get out of the workforce, because some of the most nauseating people to work with are white women that should be at home somewhere or institutionalized. Just be real. They're insecure. They're backstabbed to cat. You know what I'm talking about. You dealt with them in the school system. They're crazy. They should be at home, locked up somewhere, right? Knocked up somewhere. That's why they don't want to do it. So you got all these crazy modern feminists. Elon Musk and all of them hate these women. And not only do they hate them, they antagonize them. And they made all of these women that were working other jobs, like having fans only and doing their own little private cooking channel on YouTube, getting friends. And then their asses had to go back to work like they were black. And that pissed a whole lot of women off that didn't like driving and stuff, right? Because you'd rather talk your cell phone. You could take like selfies of your titties and get tattoos. A lot of government people that weren't working or were working 2 or 3 other jobs and treating the government job like, like free money. He made all of their asses have to go back to work.
Yeah.
Okay, so they kept messing with white women. And so Elon Musk became like an albino Emmett Till. These white holes are mad at him. And see, with Trump and them attacking abortion. You got all of these. I mean, you're attacking abortion. You're taking all the jobs away, right? And a lot of the women are bisexual. You're like messing with the gays, taking all the gay shit down. I mean, what's a white girl to do? And they don't want to stay home, bake cookies, and get pregnant. So they began to go off and come to these meetings. The other thing we have to remember, and let's go back to Social Security, because he's talking about fucking up Social Security. And we need to understand that, one, black men, myself included, like I nearly died 3 years ago, as you know, a lot of black men in this country die before they can even collect Social Security. Do you know who that money goes to? You guessed, white women. The greatest beneficiaries of black men dying early are white women. So these white women, the folks in the hospitals, when you go in there, everything smells like natural ammonia because they piss on themselves and they keep them full of pills and such. And they're just taking all the money, government contracts to take care of old white people that nobody wants, the family doesn't see. And the folks are basically can't wait to pull the plug so they can get their trust fund money or whatever it is that's set aside. People need to remember that almost or near roundabout, and because people lie, has anyone ever realized that maybe almost 7 out of 10 white people in America are above the age of 50? White people are a dying population. And nobody's touching. I'm not wishing anybody, man, fuck if you want to have people. Leave the rifle range, put the guns and the porn down, and make white children. In fact, a lot of black men's lower spine, they would have less lumbar pain if more white men made love to their own women, especially the unattractive ones, right? Although they're good customers, a whole lot of brothers making it off of unattractive, morbidly obese white women. I don't know, especially if they don't have teeth, kind of like the West Virginia dating gang reject types. Make white life matter by screwing another white person. In fact, you wouldn't have time to burn crosses and be in hate groups and all this Nazi shit. And so, people need to replace all these guns, whether it's got a stock or a silence. They always talk about all this weird shit about guns and a clip and no clip. Why? But, the gun you need to find is in your drawers. I hope it works. Now, there's a problem with that, too. A guy on Twitter wrote this note trying to take me on. I don't know. And he said, you know what? I was proof that black people had a small brain. And I said, well, it beats having a small dick, smaller balls, and a depleted sperm count. I think they blocked me. Okay, my brain's small. My dick's bigger than yours. And I started getting all these bots hated me and all this stuff. There's a problem with fertility for white men and women all over. That's only killing black women. I hate it. Killing black women in the hospital. trying to get you to kill your baby so there won't be black people in this country. And of course, a lot of dumbass black feminists, all you little traitor hoes deserve to get your asses beat by women. So it won't be sexist. I don't want to hit you, but I'm looking forward to a day when black women wake up and turn on black feminists and just beat their asses. I will be watching that shit on YouTube. I'll even get some gourmet popcorn and just watch beat up these feminists and told folk that we need to kill another 20 million or more black babies. We're going to end up like white folks where everybody has white hair like I do. So white people are a dying population. To attack Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security and SSI, this is a lifeline to maybe 50, 60, 70 million white people. Is Elon Musk crazy? Is Donald Trump crazy? He's a septuagenarian. Don't they know when you start seeing these white folks screaming at the senators, you don't see young white folks. You see a bunch of white-haired white people. A lot of the folks that are doing racist stuff, the Karens and the Kens, these are old white people living back in happy days without Fonzie, screaming, saying nigger and all. I mean, them he's on the walker saying nigger. So you know what? And real life, you know, my brother had an old white dude down at the A&A Hilton on down in Georgetown, and a white guy called him a nigger. He was a doorman. And my brother said, you're right, but you need to think about what kind. I says, I'm a big, angry, violent nigger. The white guy urinated on himself in the driveway of the hotel. And my brother never touched it, just looked at it and told, because my brother's like 6'2.5", 300 pounds. It's huge. The white guy peed on himself. But an old white dude just used a lot of these people. That's what you're seeing, a lot of reactionary behavior. People are trying to go back. I mean, they're trying to go back to like when they didn't even have to hear about Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. A lot of people consider that a great time. You know, when, you know, a Christmas ornament, hell, you see black people lynched. We have Christmas all year. See niggas hanging a tree. Oh, that's great. Look at a picture of that. Wow. These people are trying to live in the mid part of last century. And a lot of them have mental problems. They're on life-sustaining drugs. Like I said, if they notice that Trump is decreasing the price of drugs. That ain't for us.
Yeah,
that's to keep. That's to keep dying old white people alive. All of these drugs will keep them and have them keep voting kill nigger. I mean, I'm in the kill nigger party. I'm in the kill nigger party too. Well, which kill nigger party? I'm in the blue, right? Right? So back to Elon Musk. Well, the thing is China. And this is what pissed people off. Remember, Elon Musk is doing so much business with CCP, he may as well be Mao's white bastard. And you're going to do security for the United States with China. And yet you're a business person with China. You're in competition with the electric car makers who have the better shit. You know, it used to be we used to laugh at shit made in Hong Kong. The only thing we laugh about are the condoms they make. They make some good shit in China now. Okay, their cars
got a lot better.
They've got. Let me tell you, it's like people getting Brazilian butt lifts. You know, it used to be a time. You know, almost everybody was built like what's her name, Taylor Swift. You know, the one that has an iron board ass. And now a lot of white women have discovered that, you know, that they used to be ass free. Now they're ass full. Okay. The Chinese have improved on everything. They're better in chips. That's the other thing. White folk are having real anxiety because they're used to being number one in everything. And certain things are number one in, like killing, hating, genocide, you know, bigotry, you know, just polluting shit. I mean, they like to be number one, and it ain't so in everything anymore.
Dr. Short, going in on that, see, here's the thing. Here's my point of view on what you just said. Black Americans have always been the secret weapon. We create some shit, they stand on top of us. What they done, I think they started smelling their own shit, and over the last 70 years,
they've been eating their own shit. They've been eating their own shit. No, I'm just saying they're eating their own shit, not just smell it.
Over the last 50 years, 60 years, they've been smelling their own shit, and they've forgotten who the sauce is to American innovation, because now we're dealing with the grandchildren and great-grandchildren who knew what other people who knew what time it was. So with that being said, Dr. Short, with them over here, basically, when they took our Department of Education, how that's done nothing but corrupt Black American education even further. They've done everything they can to cut us off. They are now having to deal with having to actually be number one, because they don't have a bunch of George Washington Carvers behind them anymore. They don't have a bunch of Sister Gladys West and all the Black innovators that they once had. And so now they're having to basically have a reckoning and see who they really are. And now they see the Chinese kicking their ass every way, which way possible. With now you talk about Elon Musk having dual relations with America and China, and him being from South Africa, not even from here. Do you think that whole situation with him being a foreigner, him having other foreign transactions and people around him, do you think that that's starting to, how can I say this? Do you think that's starting to affect him on a deeper level?
Not quite like it should. The problem is when they say America first, they mean white America first. They've never figured this stuff out, what America is. Okay, I'm not trying to be smart. Okay, I'm just going to say it to you like this. I just looked, and it's in my tree. Yesterday I got a call. I was talking to this brother, and his name is Derek Finch. Derek Finch is like my third cousin. Never met him before. We sat down. By the way, he lives up the street from me. You didn't even know, for years.
I'm crazy.
But there's a guy with the last name Finch who's one of my grandfathers, who's one of the speakers of the House of Burgesses. Okay, the first, like the Mayflower Compact for Massachusetts. Then you had the House of Burgesses before you had the congressional congresses and such. The first place, House of Burgesses. What a Black American is so damn complex, right? Until even this damn Pope. Not that I like him, but everything that you see as great in America has a Black connection, whether you like it or not. And they've been trying for forever to act as if we're not here. We've always been doing stuff. Who taught you? I have a book. Let me see, it's right here. You can't see it, but I'll hold it up for people. Called Black Rice. Rice rivaled cotton as America's number one cash crop during the antebellum period, right? Because that rice was going to the Caribbean and to Europe and all over the world. The people who created America's second, almost number one crop, engineered all by Black people. That was making money rivaling cotton. We don't talk about it, right? The money and all kinds of stuff. What? Fried chicken? One of the main things people know about America is fried chicken. We know that Mrs. I forget her name, the lady that got ripped off by Colonel Sanders. That's a Black woman. It's a Black woman that he got the thing from. All of this stuff.
I can't think of the name.
Almost every imaginable thing that you link to America has some kind of black connection. Horse racing. They're complaining about these Latinos being deported, what that's going to do to horse racing, as if black men didn't pioneer being jockeys in Kentucky.
Right.
Over and over again, you look at it at the roots of something, it's black. Right? I'm just saying. So what when I think about America, whether it's food, music, technology, there's been an influence on it. The number one export of the United States is culture. We know it's black music. I was reading a thing by Taraji Henson where everybody lies about how poorly black films and things do overseas. In reality, people overseas don't get to see quality black films because of the racism here. But let us be honest, when the United States, even in diplomacy, was trying to fight Russia, they could send Marian Anderson or Mahalia Jackson or Louis Armstrong, as you know, and just have some Negroes be cool and literally wage nonviolent war against a global rival with black culture.
Right.
I mean, imagine that. In fact, the Russians fighting to keep black music out just will lose. People will like this stuff so much they won't obey us. Keep them out, right? Keep black people, keep American blacks out. They'll ruin everything. Not because they come out shooting, just our approach to things is more humane, right? So when people start thinking, right, you look at, and there's no place in the world where this isn't happening. But back to the technology, agriculture, transportation, all of these major sectors, electronics, black folks were there. My family's from Wilkes County, Georgia, where the cotton gin was allegedly invented by Eli Whitney. Now, if you thought Eli Whitney was into technology, you mean the only thing he invented in his life was the damn cotton gin? All of a sudden, you go to Georgia and you have the solution to picking cotton. Never seen a cotton field before, and then all of a sudden you got the solution. Or were there black people where my family was enslaved that picked cotton who had a way to get around not having to work the hell out of pulling the seeds out of the cotton lint, had a way to get around so they could have at least some time to sleep, eat, and maybe get some, slave pussy. And the white dude going around was nosy like white folk are nosy into everything that we do, saw that they had that, and basically put his name on it. What's a slave? So no property, no technology. And how did they know how to do that? And if that slave knew how to read, his ass going to end up dead or sold somewhere. So Eli Whitney gets credit for something.
It was illegal for a slave to have a patent. Now, literally, you couldn't get one.
Yeah, you could not.
If the white boys wanted to acknowledge it, he couldn't have it.
And that's why the McCormick Center in Chicago, the McCormick Spices, the person that invented everything, the Reaper for mass agricultural collection, it's a slave whose name I don't remember, an enslaved black man. In fact, he was so important, McCormick moved his ass from Virginia or West Virginia to Illinois to make certain that no one else got him so he could get all the inventions that this man made. So American agriculture, that's another major export. I mean, where the hell did this come from? Okay, so rice, wheat, and we start talking about other things. My God, a lot of the beans, I mean, just what we eat, what we do. Where does the cattle come from? It comes from Africa. Who knew how to raise African cattle? People from the Senegambia, the Longhorn, Texas Longhorn bullshit. It's Senegambian Longhorn. The steaks and the hamburger, that shit, that's ours. Whichever way you do it, and then again, we're in.
Look, you just said, let's put that in context for the people. In California, and people always ask, okay, what's the cuisine of Los Angeles, California? Most people are going to say burgers and fries. That's like the California staple. Like that's the thing that we're very known for out here. Well, the most famous burger and fry joint in Southern California, the one that really got the burger stand like popularized, was Fat Burger, and Fat Burger was invented by a black woman.
The potato chip invented by a black man.
Yes.
So it just, we can go on and on. The refrigerated car where you could move food over long distances. We can go on and on with this. So part of what's happened is this is a problem with white people. They believe their own stupid racial mythologies that they've got all the knowledge, all the intelligence, and no one else ever did anything throughout history until like what the European Renaissance, then everything started happening. It's a goddamn lie, and they know it. But I got enough guns and intimidation, and there are a whole bunch of sorry ass white Jesus asshole licking coons out here amongst us. Some of you listening are like that, who will back white folk up in the wrong because you worship them. A Klansman is Jesus to a whole lot of black people. I mean, sometimes it's good when the cops kill their ass. They think God did it. This is a problem, and something else I'm going to mention to you. These people thought for forever people wanted to work for them, okay? Now, they did everything they could, destroy independent black communities. I had family burnt up in East St. Louis. I had family run out of Little Egypt, an area that was put underwater. I had family burnt out of Wilmington, North Carolina. My family had to flee from the panhandle of Florida when Rosewood was going on. My grandmother moved up here within a couple of years of Rosewood. You get where I'm going, just over and over these crazy. We try to do something, you burn it up to keep us having to work for them. They think other people who come from other cultures are going to forever want to babysit their babies, wipe their behinds, work as orderlies in hospitals and be underpaid. It's not real. When I worked for the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences at Harvard, right? They had so many people from Korea and China that they were giving all of this money and scholarships to. Very few of their PhDs in physics, mathematics, chemistry were even white Americans. That's at Harvard. This is a situation that happened when Sputnik was launched by the Russians in 1957, that something had to be done with American education because American people, youth, weren't really being prepared for worldwide competition. And part of what happens for a period of time, they really got serious about education. But what happens in 57 alongside Sputnik? It's Little Rock, Arkansas. My mentor, Alfred David Jones's family fled Little Rock to St. Louis because there was supposed to be 10 kids. My mentor, who died in 98 or 99, at the age of 59, family didn't want to get terrorized or killed. They were afraid. At Little Rock happened in 57, Sputnik happened in 57, right? And what happened before Sputnik is you had Brown versus Board of Education, right? And so you had a situation where America needed to educate its young people so they could compete with the communists. And then you have a problem. The problem is you want to compete, you want all Americans to be smarter, but you have a multi-tiered education system, in particular one that made certain that some of its most creative people, Black, weren't to get anything. And they've been fighting from 1954 to now, right? 71 years to maintain segregated and unequal schooling in this country, meaning that there's a greater interest in destroying the potential of a significant number of people in America versus harnessing the best talent that you could get for America in general, as a whole. And America is counted on, white America, people from Europe, people to flee Russia and flee Germany or whatever, bring Nazis and other people over.
Yeah.
Right? The talent would come from somewhere else, and therefore we don't have to develop it here because you don't want the population to be too smart. Because what began to happen around the same time that Kennedy and them began to raise a little bit of hell about schools, and we got to do something about this craziness in the schools under the Kennedy administration, Vietnam, right? So what? About a couple years, say about 1962, I think 63, 62, I think is a year that GM brothers, both of them got killed because Kennedy and them allowed the Vietnamese president and his brother to get killed because the Buddhists were setting themselves on fire. And that introduced Americans to the ugliness of what was going on in Vietnam. And as this Vietnam shit grew, a new problem emerged because something else is going on alongside the Vietnamese setting themselves on fire and that thing going on in Vietnam. You have the civil rights thing go on. You start having all this stuff happening here where Black folks start agitating, in particular, led by the worst people that white Americans hate the most: Black, college-educated people and veterans. It's a nightmare. Huge numbers of Black folks who served in Korea or served in World War II. These people who had served at war, men, began to go and get educated, ask questions, die. They began to challenge the racial caste in the country. So you have an anti-war movement and you got an anti-racial oppression movement. And therefore, having really good education where people know where the hell Vietnam is, they don't think it's Kansas like dumbass people do now. An educated American public won't go along with the imperial prerogatives of the oligarchs that run the country. Therefore, you need a stupid ass public, a dumb fuck public, a drugged out, based out, corrupted public. And so alongside, let's go back around the same time that the Dixiecrat movement started to push for segregation, to fight against any change for Black people, in particular in the area of education and voting, right? And access. Same year, Shelley versus Kramer, I think it's 1948. And before that, 1946, Morgan versus the Commonwealth of Virginia, that basically ruled Jim Crow unconstitutional exactly 8 years before the Brown case. Alongside the white racist Democrats starting the Dixiecrat movement, the CIA's black budget was created to dump dope, to kill off Black people, to raise money for America's war against non-white people all over the world for the CIA. And so you begin to corrupt Black music and Black communities in the name of advancing white supremacy for the super rich people that use the CIA to protect their corporate multinational interests and their international brutal dictator friends that allow them to steal resources without fairly compensating people. In order to keep a lid on all of that, you have to have dumbass people. And therefore, you don't really like education. And so there is an involvement of destroying thinking, thought, doing stuff like making, since the 60s. I remember people in the 70s and all could protest and all because it didn't cost that much to go to school. So you pull a game. You make going to school super expensive. So you have to go into debt. So you better not go out and get involved and become aware. You bring in a whole bunch of certain sorts of technology to destroy jobs. They've been destroying all the infrastructure that would create thought. Television used to be more thoughtful. They made it more stupid. You remove You start in the late 60s, just as blacks were close to uh, overtaking whites in literacy, you got rid of phonics in the schools in the late 60s because black people that were reading and writing were reading Malcolm X, were reading Leroy Jones, aka Amari Baraka. They're reading Malcolm X. They're reading Killings. They're reading all kinds of stuff. They're reading E. Franklin Frazier. They're reading Frantz Fanon. You have to intellectually destroy people so they will accept whatever these brutal, vicious, white, billionaire class people want. So the downside to it for the people is that they're dumb as hell and they don't know what the hell is going on. And the upside for the rich is people are dumb as hell and they can't resist. They don't do anything about their wages going down. They're against health care for everyone because it means the black population would be a third to 40% of the American population. And you don't want that after all they've done to us. So you have an elite that are trying to destroy significant elements of the population, economically challenged whites, black people, of course, they killed niggers, right? And all the other people. How do we hold on to this? And so education is an enemy. And so you start creating other things alongside the drugs and alongside getting rid of literacy and alongside you add feminism and then you bring in the sexual revolution. You start doing things to destroy intellectual inquiry because they know if they get you into sex and drugs early, you're not going to want to think. You're not going to do a lot of academic achievement quite the same way.
I want to piggyback on a point you just made about the sexual revolution. I was recently, not too long ago, talking to my father-in-law. He's 83 now. And we're talking about the sexual revolution. And you know what he told me? He's the same age as mine. He turned 18 in 1959. He was born in 41. He says something happened in 1960. He said it went from like when 1960 hit, he was like out of nowhere, all the women's drawers was off. And all the stuff they talk about now, he said that stuff started in the 60s. He said the 50s was very conservative. He remembers the 40s well, but he was too young. But in the 50s, he reached the age of sexual maturity in the 50s. He said it was tight. He said, but when 1960 hit, 61, he said the women's drawers was all at their ankles. It was like it snapped overnight.
It's Alfred Kinsey. The Alfred Kinsey, the father of legalizing pedophilia in the country, his book on sexuality for American men and women, a lot of his crazy ideas. Here's a man that raped hundreds of children and paid people to rape children. Basically, his fake research out of Indiana University, this shaped public policy. See, and I left out the gay thing. So we've been pushing, this thing began to say we need to do more sex, less math, less science, fuck more, drug more, be happy, action painting. A lot of this stuff, remember, MK Ultra, the CIA, and all these people are trying to figure out how do you control the American public. They began working with LSD and other things. We want to control people's minds. We don't want people to disobey us. We don't want it. And so, see, there's a contradiction. You need a lot of people like Oppenheimer that helped guide the Manhattan Project. The guy was rebellious in his thinking, but he helped get the bomb made. Certain sorts of creative people are not going to be passive. They think too much. They're not stupid. You have to understand that the elite in this country hate the people, and you hate people that you don't like thinking. And one of the things that really helped spur invention in this country, like IBM, International Business Machines, some of the main people that helped get IBM moving were black, but IBM's super racist company. A lot of the people in it just, but these are people that made it anyway.
To go even further on what you said, I remember my mother used to work at aerospace over here in El Segundo. And I was looking up different black inventors, and there's one, I'm drawing a blank to his name, but he had a major role in inventing the cell phone. Was it Jesse Russell?
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank. I think it was Jesse Russell. Well, I think it was him. But no, it was someone else. I'm drawing. It was a Henry Sampson. That's what I think it was. I think it was Henry Sampson. Well, anyway, he had a major role in inventing this. Yeah, well, he was Henry Sampson. That's what it was. And I remember telling him I was like kind of doing something on that when I was talking about the cell phone, and I forgot how my mother saw the picture. She was like, "How do you know him?" I said, "This is the man that made a major wave in creating the technology that led to the first cell phone." And she was like, "Man, that's my coworker." She was like, "I've been seeing this man walk up and down around aerospace for 20 years and never knew it." A black man could have been something so great. And he was an engineer at aerospace, one of the higher up engineers, but she always talked about how humble he was. And how, again, the tech, we don't always get the credit because oftentimes we ain't the ones rushing to the patent office to put our name on something, and we ain't got, even when we do, we don't have the money to research and develop it. But we always have the critical component that those who do have the resources need in order for whatever it is to take off.
You're right. And I want to mention something to you because everybody's screaming Oppenheimer, Einstein. Einstein's a philosopher. He's not a scientist. There was a man who was head of the American Physicists Association. Basically, one of the godfathers of the atomic bomb is a man by the name of Elmer Imes. Imes spelled I-M-E-S. I mean, do you understand a black man being head of the American Physicists Association in the 50s or 40s? Right? Back and said, that's how smart this dude was. Researching the atoms and all this stuff. Einstein's reading his shit. You know all about the little Jewish dude with the nappy hair that abused his wife, but you don't know about the black man that the Jewish dude with the fucked up hair who abused his wife studied. And part of that is our fault. Like you look, I got books everywhere, researching, learning. If you get into the history of science, as you seem to be, every time you turn around, there's something. Because we've always been here. And always had to be here because we were first. I'm not saying that people, white, don't make stuff. I'm not into that. You'll never hear me talk like that. I'm simply saying, if someone makes really good music or good food or something, I'm going to give them credit. I don't care where they're from. That's just not the way that the supremacist looks. They always nullify, destroy, cast dispersion, assassinate the character of whole peoples in order to make themselves bigger. That's
lying through omission. Their biggest tool is lying through omission.
Yeah, but that's that's the act of inferior people. If you're acting inferior, I don't do that, and that's why I'm very straight with people. I had to check this woman the other day who's claimed she's an American Indian, and she looked more white to me than Indian. Showed her a picture of one of my ancestors that's an Indian that's much darker than me, and she was quick to dismiss his Indianness because she equated Indianness to whiteness or lightness, which let me know you're a fucking white woman calling yourself a damn Indian. Okay, you're gonna say I know a lot of white folks that look like you. Okay, maybe you're Indian, but damn, I got more than you do. And like I said to her face, Indians are copper colored. That's what they say. I'm copper colored. You're not, and you're gonna negate who got some indigenous American here. I mean, it's more likely me than you, right? That it's always dismissing everybody else. But you know what?
I want to go ahead. I'll finish off because I want to switch to a different topic. But finish off what you just said. Put a button on what you're saying. And I want to switch.
I'll put a button on it. It's that Empires rise and empires fall. What tends to take empires down is corruption and pride. And I'll just say this to you: the Germans didn't have to lose as badly or at all to the Russians in World War II, but the thing that kicked the Germans' ass on the Eastern Front is they consistently dismissed the ability of the Russians. They just discounted, just, I'm white, fuck them, I say they can't do it. So when they were outside of Moscow, may have been able to take Moscow, or at least have a defensive line to be prepared. They had intelligence that the Russians were coming with 1 million people, and they said they can't do it. Even if they're spies, so they got people. I'm white. No, we're master, right? They did that there. They did it in Stalingrad. They did it in Kursk. 3 main battles. You kept saying you didn't see the humanity. I get you don't like someone, but they're still people. They have an inability to imagine that someone else could be human. Now, let me give you a joke and I'll stop. What does Michelle Obama have in common with Mr. T?
What?
Y chromosome. Okay.
I got a question right here from the chat and on the live interview in Exclusive Lounge. Salute everybody on that tier. And the question is, will more black federal government employees in the DMV be laid off?
I don't know. And I'll tell you something. A part of me doesn't care. The blacks who have government jobs in this area do absolutely nothing to lead, advance. You can't get them once they get. In fact, I always say the biggest drug, intergenerational drug in this area is government jobs. I know people who use the government job as an excuse. They can't go to church. They can't go to PTA. They can't do this. They can't do that. Everything is their goddamn government job. And all they do is backstab and block other black people. And you meet them, they believe that Kamala Harris is Jesus' mother. They believe that Obama is Nat Turner. They believe that Biden is Abraham Lincoln. And it's like, damn, we're black. Don't you see it? The stability of those jobs makes them delusional. That's why you have that little moist Jamaican governor that hates black people, who's pushing for LGBTQ and illegals. And there's no outcry because those niggas have government jobs. You'll see some activism at long last. Thank God that those niggas have been cut off. You can't go to them. I know what it's like to be political. Try to get someone to sign a petition. I just want someone to run for office. They can't sign a petition. Oh, I got a government job. Everything's like, I got a fucking government job. Government job, government job, government job. Right?
Is that bad?
Yes, it's that fucking bad. Slash all of those people. Wake the fuck up. Why are we counting? In fact, they act like they're rich because you have a government job instead of making businesses. Everybody else is plumbing. There's all kinds of commerce for everybody else. And by the way, not only do they get the government jobs, but they fight and they block and they stifle all the other black people because they're so fucking selfish. I hate it. Slash the motherfuckers. Not because I don't want black people to have work. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm so sick and tired of it.
I have scant memories of that because when I was a kid in the 80s and the 90s, I remember I had a couple cousins and an auntie with government jobs. I do remember the family members that had government jobs are more smug. But the thing is, my generation here in LA, they stopped affirmative action back in 1996. So my generation and even younger Gen Z, they didn't get the government job. So like I didn't really.
But those old niggas didn't.
I can't point to a whole bunch of friends from high school, from college that graduated, left, and got government jobs. The only people I know that got government jobs, hell, most of them moved to DC.
The old boomers.
And I'm saying And I'm saying that for a reason to the people listening. The reason why I'm saying that, I'm 43 and I don't really know hardly anybody with government jobs. That's because the Mexicans took all the government jobs here in LA for my generation. What I'm saying that to say is this. The government, you see what's happening right now with the layoffs. You see what's been going on, and you listen to the attitude that Dr. Short speaks on. Because Dr. Short ain't the first person to speak on it. I've heard, other people, and I've seen it, in certain parts of my life. Basically, what he's saying is, look, even if you're one of those that have it, you can't go around. It's high time that black folks with government jobs, if you're gonna be there, you ain't gonna be there too much longer the way this shit's going. So you might as well flip up and switch, and use that guaranteed income that you have for right now to make some changes on whatever level you see yourself making changes. Because going around and acting like it doesn't exist, and this isn't to the person that asked the question, this is just in general. Going around acting like it doesn't exist, going around saying, okay, I want to be safe. Take it from someone here in LA. There is no safe. I mean, when they done with you, they done with you, whether you hook other black folks up or not. So you might as well hook other black folks up.
Yeah. Brother Dwann, here's the thing. Because I have a family full of government workers, okay? And I've seen people where they hook up some, like, I'm going to just say to you, a lot of the sisters, they do not get brothers' jobs. It's like a black woman thing. I don't know what it's about. It's insane. And I see these government worker types. You can't, they vote Democrat blindly. When they began to attack blacks having government jobs in the 80s, there was no outcry from these people. When our kids could work here because they only could see themselves. And in fact, I mean, if you're trying to like bust a rap to a woman, she don't want to know who you are. What's your GS rating? If it's not like a 10, they can't speak to you. What? Everything is basically the government's a big white dick that certain people sucked on. And I mean, I hope they choke. Look, it isn't the government job. It's not the employment. It is the attitude that I don't have to do anything for anyone. I don't owe anyone anything. I can't risk anything because I've got a good job. Screw you. This stuff is insane. You got those government jobs because people fought for your black asses to get them. And so they've let the black folks get driven out of the post office. But I got mine. And I remember being down in the archives and watch this dude push the trash can. And forgive me, I just heard this voice. I'm the ghost of slavery past, and I can hear the chains of it. And if you get down there and see some of the people with government jobs, the plantation, the smiling, the grinning, the backstabbing. When I go into the buildings, the TSA type people, let the white folks in and give the black people coming in hell, check you, like be all mean to you. It's amazing. And it's all because you have I'm not knocking. Look, my grandfather used to be, my mother just told me, my grandfather used to work at the White House. I never knew that. I knew my grandmother works at the White House. My grandfather, because he's black, he weren't allowed to have a gun. Okay. There's a lot of racism. I have a cousin, I think I mentioned to you, Matthew Fogg. There's a case that he's been fighting because over 10,000 black law enforcement people, FBI, they've been mistreated, underpaid, racially discriminated against. There's a group called BIG, Blacks in Government. and okay, it's called BIG, Blacks in Government. And it should be called Blacks and Goofy, because those weak niggas have enough people across the country. They could be advocates for all kinds of stuff, for opportunities for other black folks younger. They don't do that. They don't care. It's just them. I hate that as much as I hate the boule. It isn't just about me, brother. If you call me and you ask me for something, and that's for people who don't disrespect or mistreat me. Because a lot of, they're talking about Dwann, a lot of folk fuck over black people who help other black folks. At 60, with my mom with cancer and me with cancer and a heart patient, You mess over me once, I'm done. I don't have to fuss or argue. I don't hate you. Just go. But I do give a damn, and so do you. We help other people. We do what we can. The black people could move forward if everybody did their little bit. The thing I hate about these government worker niggas is that someone gave and put so much in them, and they don't give anything back. And I mean, and it's amazing. And they go along with all the garbage. And therefore, and I'm serious. And when you see people who can't take a stand, like when you see the white folks raising hell over textbooks in schools, they have the same sort of garbage stuff going on in these areas with lots of black government workers. You know they're not going to go and fight for their kids because they have a government job. So the crime rate in these areas with these government workers are, one person got shot to death trying to steal someone's car, pulled a gun. Nigga got away from him and shot him. Shot him with his own gun. This person's probably a government worker's kid who was spoiled, who was mediocre, because I used to teach him at Bowie. You can talk about some dumbass people, black government workers' kids who just I'm gonna get a government. They just go get a government job. I mean, I don't even have to think about that. Well, I'm gonna be working.
Yeah, man. I don't want to say too much on the topic. I want to move on. We only got about 21 minutes. I want to talk about Trump. What's going on? Like, I want to actually. I want to go where you want to go. You want to go Trump, or what direction do you want to go?
We can do general events. I mean, we can do Trump. We can do also God just burning up all these White Houses and stuff. I mean, he just burnt the Calorama mansion here that the big slave ass holder had, not too far from where I live. That should.
One second. I want people to hear exactly what it is. We heard about the plantation down there in Louisiana. What's the other one you just said near you?
It's Calorama. It's in the Calorama section of D.C. And see, all this stuff is interconnected. I always talk about my cousin that's a genealogist, Thelma Short Doswell. She's a Nottoway Indian. So when I heard about the Nottoway plantation, I was thinking that's in Virginia. When I heard it's in Louisiana, I said, oh, shit. Okay. So the Nottoway, those are folks that enslaved people I'm connected to, bastards. So you know I'm happy. I was singing, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, oh, happy day, right? When Jesus washed, he washed the crackers away.
Oh, they had 2 fires in one day. Wow, when they put it out, they had another fire. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, they need a bunch of them. I mean, they could do Pennsylvania Avenue. It won't be my fault. If God does it, it's right, okay? On top of that, did you hear about the Confederate
fire? You got this one. Wow.
Then you had a Confederate war museum. A tree smashed that motherfucker. I mean, God is busy. Y'all need to pray. Hold on. Where's my white Jesus at? I got my white Jesus. No, you earn all the praise, man. Say wage of the people, white Jesus. Okay. I have my white Jesus though. Yeah, no, look. So this is a time of judgment. That's why white folks are acting so erratic. Now, as for Trump, we could say a little bit about Diddy. I just want to say the thing that got me is, unless Cassie thought that she's gonna get the last of the Kool-Aid that the little male prostitute drank, and the best she could do was his pee. I never understood that. I also don't understand the Fagstone vitamins. I mean, the ecstasy pills that look like Obama. That was weird.
Yeah, they taking ecstasy pills that would look like Obama. That
yes, and
weird.
That's why I was calling them Fagstone vitamins, because they look like Flintstone. But, ecstasy is a sex drug, so I call it a Fagstone. That trial is interesting. I was talking to who, and so a whole bunch of stuff's going to come out. It's going to drag another 7 weeks. I'm already grossed out. I want to get to human trafficking. I mean, I'm glad they had a forensic psychologist there at long last talk about Stockholm syndrome and how when you mess over women, you get this stuff. I don't necessarily, that was it's such a damn mess. I get depressed. I can't watch it. But I'm sorry if they killed Prince. I mean, they got Biggie. They killed all the great people. That's, somebody's got to be punished for that. And all the people making excuses for that, it's because they haven't killed someone in your family. And that's sad. That's some silly, coon ass, individualistic nigga stuff that you're on. That if it didn't happen to me personally, it's okay. It is. I don't care how much money. I don't care how much drugs. And did you hear about the dancer, the one that was a kid who's supposed to have this glistening body? And then the other thing I was going to mention, the real thing I'm interested in, is Joaquin Jeffries. You've heard me talk about him in No Good. Dr. Evil looking nigga that's a House minority leader from New York. He looks like Dr. Evil. He looks like the character from the Austin Powers movie. He does look like a mulatto Dr. Evil. Did you hear that they have these communist themed freak offs where these white Latino dudes, be in thongs and all, dancing with cigars, acting like Fidel Castro in honor of Hakeem Jeffries? Okay, I'm just trying to think. And Hakeem Jeffries never opens his mouth for black people, and maybe doesn't open his ass for them either. So we don't get either end. Damn.
That's kind of sad because he's nephew of Leonard Jeffries. I remember Leonard Jeffries talking about him years ago. His nephew. That I was thinking, we got somebody that's in Congress. Man, he ain't shit.
No, he's not, and he's under control of a thing. By the way, I just want to mention that Cory Booker voted for the Julie Andrews looking dude, Kushner's dad, to be an ambassador somewhere. And he knew to do that because Kushner's father knows how to blackmail and extort stuff out of closet gay people, like he did to one of those governors in New Jersey. So Cory Booker went ahead and voted because he knows that those Jews have his number. In fact, I think Cory Booker may be a clandestine Jew because he was in the Hillel Club when he was over in England, in Oxford, if I'm correct. Now, Donald Trump. Donald Trump is listening to this piece of shit GCP named Stephen Miller, who hates black people's guts. And Donald Trump has literally, Steve Miller has X'd out, and also Donald Trump's stupid ass sons have literally run almost everybody black from being able to get to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is sort of like a welfare mother who's in love with whoever is bringing her money, fucking her for the minute. And if you ain't fucking her, she forgets you. Steve Miller's able to pop it like it's hot in Trump's ear and consistently feed Donald Trump what he wants him to do. And other people who are a lot smarter, who are not interested in a race war with black people, are not able to get to Trump. And Trump's character, as he takes the shape of whoever is stroking him, literally and figuratively. So he's being stroked by these people, these Zionists, fund him, Sheldon Adelson's widow. A lot of anti-black people are funding and helping him. And the people who've been tight with Trump that are black have been sidelined, have been kept away. Because the black folks didn't have the money. And so Trump and them, whoever it is, they're only dealing with cash. So you can have all the good connections with voters and everything to work. You don't count as much as someone that's got hard, cold cash. So Donald Trump's doing that. This South Africa thing is a disgrace. All I can say to you is this is Watts 60, right? Watts, in August, it'll be the 60th anniversary of the first really, really super major black urban rebellion in America. I don't want anyone to do anything, but I believe that we're coming into a period where black people are going to explode. And it won't just be, it's going to be against non-FBA people, and it's going to be against the boule, and it's going to be against racists. And they're doing all kinds of stuff in places like Ohio, just killing and doing. People are going to explode on them. And there's been no leadership. It's the same way for, take Carmelo Anthony. Not one significant black figure even said, let's pray with the family. There was no Jesse Jackass. There was nobody like that did that. For the guy who's accused of running over the cop in Cincinnati, nobody. Over and over again, you have these atrocities being committed against black people. All kinds of bad things have been happening since these illegals have been allowed to come in. And there's been really nothing. And we understand because people like Hakeem Jeffries are at the free cause. This is why I talk about the boule like I do, like these no good black Greek letter people, Prince Hall Mason, Eastern Stars, and other degenerate black people who have access, who have the money, that have the education, that refuse, and government workers who refuse, and black elected officials who refuse to do anything, even token, for black people. They're not even good enough to be called Uncle or Aunt Tom. And these days with trans, there are Aunt Toms. Look, we've got a situation that's going to blow. And I think I'm not even worried about it. I'm actually kind of glad. I'd rather have Donald Trump, and black folk have to come to themselves. It's time for us to leave fantasy land. We're hated, we're surrounded, we're outnumbered, and we're going to have to grow up and learn how to deal with each other, or we're going to die. I mean, how much longer do we get to be stupid like this? How long do we get to like backstab, murder, turn our backs, not come together? All this pressure is being put on us, I believe, by God Almighty. He's saying, turn to me and turn to each other, my people. And as long as we think we can be allied to gays and communists and illegals and foreign Muslims in other countries, and we're more concerned about Traore than whether our kids can get to and from school without being killed by cops or by black criminal asshole niggas. We've got to change our state of affairs. And we've got to deal with that fast. And everybody sees us as weak. The tethers are doing this stuff to us now because we're not fighting nothing except each other. We're weak. We don't understand. This is the thing about black Americans. We've been so pressed. We just want to get along. That is not how people in a Hunger Games world function. Their thing is, if you're weak, we're going to kick you when you're down. We're not going to help you up. Black folk help people up. They kick people when they're down, including Africans and Caribbeans. I'm sorry, they're like that too. They come here with tribalism or nationalism. Our fundamental failure, our fundamental fuck up as a people, as we don't see ourselves as a collective. We see ourselves as individuals who aren't fortunate to be born white. That's our curse, and it's as much our fault that we refuse to do better and expect people who've been trained from infancy to hate your guts to treat you better than what you treat yourself. It's on us. And it's left to us to have a moral, ethical revolution. We need to see ourselves as a people. Freedmen, FBA, ADOS, GayDOS, I say DAFTA, descendants of Aboriginals and forcibly trafficked Africans in America, whatever the fuck I'm talking about, you know who you are. A Kebulan, Americans, whatever. They're all the stupid ass Moors, all this stupid shit, little goofy niggas with the circus monkey hats. All this stupid shit that we're on. We need to be able to have an ability to come together, or we're going to hang separately. Trump is the best news. Kamala would have killed us with the Asians and the illegals. The Democrats would have killed us with the sodomites. I mean, they would have probably pardoned Diddy. I mean, Diddy be active. In fact, Kamala's been to some of those parties. That's probably why they went to snatch the videos. We're actually, I hate a whole lot of stuff. But good things are happening. Look at the fact that big homoerotic walrus named T.D. Jakes had to step down. And did you see how he had his daughter in the take it up the ass position that he threw the cloak on her? That was too nasty for me. That's an ordination? That looks like an initiation, if you ask me. He had the daughter with her ass stuck up. I was like, damn. And you have thousands of people look at your daughter prostrate with her butthole, up like that, like she's going to do a doggy style with her daddy. And that's how you get the reins of power in the church. I call it the Pootie House anyway. Okay, Pootie House. So, Jakes, remember we did that show about Jakes and Diddy? Remember? Back in 23? You and I, yes, we did, around Christmas time, when the Color Slurple was coming out. Yes, and I was telling you this is going to happen. So we have two things going on. We're being attacked by everybody because we're not doing our A game as Black Americans, and we're having a civil war. Right now, we just have anarchy. We don't have a Shaka Zulu. We don't have someone that can kick ass and become a center of power that people can rally to. We have a great resistance. In particular, I'm going to just say this. Black men are antisocial bitches. They don't like to coalesce, except for with the pussy hole, a joint, a sports team. It's never anything about a collective of Black men coming together to empower each other. We don't do that. It's a very effeminate trait. Black men may be a lot of muscles, but we're very effeminate in terms of how we deal with power and systems. We're more faggots than San Francisco. Because you know what? Gay men will come together around sucking dick. You have Black gay pride all over the country. People who suck dick and eat doo-doo can come together and fight to get policies and shit and get tax breaks and all kinds of stuff, even to get their throat cleaned and their guts pumped. They will do that around degeneracy. And straight Black men who think, you're owed a Nobel Prize because you like pussy. You're supposed to fucking like pussy. And marry the person with the pussy that you like and be a father to the babies that fall out of the pussy instead of being an abortion clinic getaway driver. So Black men are being called, when are we going to fucking stand up? There's no reason that we aren't the police in our community. Why other people do it? They're Islamic and these people who are racially other, whatever, they're policing our neighborhood. They don't have white cops running around. We couldn't do that. We couldn't kick some of these jive niggas' asses in the neighborhood. We can't have safety where we can set up stores and businesses. Of course we can, but as long as the biggest bitch in the Black community is the Black man who doesn't think he needs the next Black man to link arms, to rescue our people from folks who hate our guts, then we're fucked as a people. In Jesus' name, I say it.
Amen. I appreciate you, Dr. Short.
Okay.
We got to do this again. We got to do this again. Obviously, there's a lot going on. But like I said, we're on point with our predictions as far as us being out. And
the riots are coming. There's going to be explosions. And by the way, they won't just be Blacks. I think illegals, there are going to be all kinds of people acting out. I just hope that Black people wait. Let white people fight each other, please. Since you don't want to stand up for anything, you don't want to see the survival of your own people, please don't get brave and get into other people's fights. Please be as much of a coward, a bitch, to sell out self-hating coon for redneck and not so redneck and Islamic and Zionistic and whatever it is. If it's not our shit, be as much of a coward, a bitch, a backstabber, a do-nothing, fence-riding nigga with others as you are with your own people. That's all I'm asking.
That's real talk, Dr. Short. That's real talk. So I want to thank you again, and we'll be back at it again soon. Everyone on Patreon, everyone members, I appreciate y'all for joining. Please do not share out there because I don't want those strikes again. I'm under strike until July on my page, so I gotta watch it.
Yeah, well, you do watch it, and we got to be careful. I was telling Odell, ever since we had Jag, man, they really came down on me. I told people knew the biggest nightmare is Dr. Short and Jaguar Wright talking would just bring about repression. It's not to happen.
Yeah, it's too much.
I know.
For about 6 weeks.
Yes, and people, I don't know. I think I'm a little teeny tiny person. I'm in the basement, whatever. I'm nobody. But somebody really big and powerful thinks I'm really important. Somebody thinks I'm a very important person.
You've been saying that for a long time, and those of us who are regular here, we see that now it's affecting this channel and yours.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Get up out of here, Dr. Short.
Sure. See you.
Thanks again. And,
see you.
Let's go to show.
All right. Stay white,
and
white Jesus loves you. See.
Right.
Bye. Okay, guys. How is everybody out there in the Angry Black Man universe? I want to thank you guys. Let me see. It's 7 o'clock. Oh, my God. And I took a whole bunch of performance-enhancing herbs and vitamins so I could be nice and high. Well, naturally high. I don't like substance abuse. And I have this little spying-ass ex-cop on here watching me. Yeah, I always have police like ready to snitch me out and shit. That's okay. I see you, Lone Wolf. I want to say to you guys that I am, I still haven't finished. I strained my back, so I have my back brace on. I literally started reorganizing the library here, and I'm now a week behind because I had to move some gym equipment, and I strained the hell out of my back. I was in pain. That's why I didn't do anything Saturday. It's feeling a lot better. If, because I'm going to get off my back for a second. If, because I got this great book. If, because I'm going to take a break. If I really feel like it, I found this book. I'm going to read some of it. It's called Murders and Outrages, The Record of Murders and Outrages, Racial Violence and the Fight Over the Truth at the Dawn of Reconstruction. And I thought to just look at this for a second because we're going into something close to that. And thank you. Someone said I'm loved and respected. Oh, that's cool. Thank you. I want to try to do this. It's 7 something now. If I'm going to take a break and get on a heating pad for a little bit so my back feels better. If I feel as good as I do now, because I feel very high, I had ashwagandha, shilajit, I had some beetroot, I had guarana and knack. And right now, I haven't felt this good in like a week. I feel high enough to do some reading. And I feel energized. So I'm to the 105 and to the, I don't know, how many people is that? Let me put my glasses on. My eyes must be playing tricks to me. Because either they talk, okay, 33. So there are about 150 people watching. I don't even have my my other channel up. I just want everybody to know that between tonight and whenever, I should have this library back in order as I feel better. And the readings will continue and expand. And with the library in better order, I'll be able to grab and do whatever I want. I may even do shorter pieces. So just bear with me. We're working towards it. Don't forget me. And I want to make this announcement. I'm going to do a GoFundMe. I'm trying to get people who are in the District of Columbia area. If you're near DC, Baltimore, maybe you can be in Philly. Jaguar Wright is going to be at the Bethesda Theater on June 27th. Let me just share that, okay? Jaguar is going to be in town on the 27th of June. That's a Friday, if I'm correct. And tickets are high. It's a very small place, but it's intimate. I've only been there once. So you're going to need about $100. I'm going to do a GoFundMe because I have some very cool people that I want to make it. And I know asking people for $100 for a performance is rough. So I'm going to set up a GoFundMe. I'm going to put the link out and I'm going to share that. I'm going to try to get a few dollars so I can help some folks. And why are we doing it? One, it's not so much about Diddy. I'm in a group called Salt Ministry. We have a commitment. We're opposed to human trafficking, in particular Black people. We hate slavery. I'm an abolitionist. I don't like sex slavery. I don't like any kind of slavery. And it's going on. And we want to bring attention to it. And we're thankful that Jaguar has been raising sand. Finally, a Black woman that can command an audience is saying that this has to stop. We want to support her as people have done. If you had any idea how many people have tried to kill and set up Jaguar, I want to be able to say, when the sister was speaking the truth and standing up, I didn't run away. A lot of people run around and say, well, I wouldn't have sold out Malcolm X. I wouldn't have sold out Dr. King. I wouldn't have betrayed Nat Turner. I would have helped Medgar Evers. Well, we can help Jaguar. And I'm going to do what little I can. And so I want all of you that follow me, and not so much follow, but anyone that at least halfway understands what I'm talking about, to, when I put the GoFundMe up, or maybe you could just pay the $100. The food is decent. I was there once. It's been 11 years since I was there. It's a nice place. There are about 400 seats. And I'm trying to see if I can get anywhere from 10 to 20 people to go. I want to make certain that there's some solid people. And I'm going to just say this with y'all. Y'all may not know this, but there's a group of us. We get together and we pray for Jaguar. We pray for Jaguar. I don't have to agree with everything Jaguar says or does, but Jaguar is right that this trafficking stuff is wrong. And I don't care who does it, rich, famous. I'm particularly angry with preachers. My big thing is to go after church corruption. As I told Jag, she's concerned about Diddy. I'm concerned about Jakes. That's who causes me gas. That's who I'm angry with. I'm going to stay angry until some people are held accountable. I don't like crooked liar preachers. I've always despised them from the time I was 2 years old, even before. I've never liked them. I'm never going to like them. That's just how I'm put together. If you're a crooked minister, go to hell. God's going to get you. I'm going to try to get you first. Y'all have lied to our people. You haven't led them. You've taken their money. You're a fraud like Creflo Dollar, someone else I can't stand. I don't like none of y'all. None. And yes, I'll stay home. I'd rather watch Jerry Lewis and Tarzan movies than go to your damn church and watch you and a bunch of fake ass people act like you represent God when our people are hungry and dying out here spiritually, economically, socially, intellectually. And you guys do nothing but build bigger and bigger ugly churches that talk less and less about God. In fact, you may feel closer to God in the club than you do in some of these churches that these bastards have. Anyway, back to Jaguar. We pray with her. And we encourage her. And so I want some people, and there's a strong possibility that some real good will happen out of some of us getting together and praying for our sister, praying for our young people, praying for the music. We used to like music. I used to go broke. Where you see books everywhere, I used to have records everywhere. I loved music, and then they ruined it. Anyway, it's a couple minutes to 8. I want to get off my back and sit for a second. But if anybody wants to come back and check, I'll send an announcement out if I'm able to do another one, if I feel like it. But we're going to be talking a little bit about violence and reconstruction. I've got some other really good titles that are really hardcore. I love this one, We Refuse. It's talking about Black women in resistance. Back when Black women weren't killing babies, they were being real Black women. Ida B. Wells type, the kind of sisters I like. She was chunky, but she was so militant. She was dark. So dark, I'll take it for dark. When Black women weren't feminists, I loved them. Not like pork chops today. I can't stand them. God, return the cinders, Elvis would say. We refuse a forceful history of Black resistance. Another one I really like, Force and Freedom, Black Abolitionists and the Politics of Violence. I got these titles. So I appreciate when you give to my Cash App. What I do is just build my library, and when I'm not jacked up, no health crisis, I like to share. People need to know what's out here. I got another book I'm going to get, and it's got a little piece on how hundreds of black men were mass murdered during the Civil War. That's a book I'll probably get next week. This is a book I'm gonna read a little bit on. I may do this first. This is called the SS Derlavanger Brigade. It's a history of the Black Hunters. This is sort of what we got with the cops now. Very violent, evil, hateful German men that went and killed Slavs, who were basically the niggers of Europe. They were sort of in our place. This is what we have for cops. It's a whole psychology of getting killer cops and putting them in areas so they will murder people. We need to understand that this is a type of social control that we're under, and it's been actually used by other countries. It's being used on us. I was thinking also, I got this really nice one. It's called Reckoning with History, Reckoning with the Devil, Nathan Bedford Forrest in Myth and Memory. This is a gentleman that started the Ku Klux Klan and helped massacre Black women and children in Tennessee in the 1860s during the Civil War. Slave trader, never went to jail. There are a lot of massacres of Black people from 1862 all the way up to now. There were massacres of Black people way before Rosewood, way before Black Wall Street, way before they massacred Black folks all over the country. Massacred Black soldiers. They did it. Yes, they did. And you need to know that history. Know who you're dealing with. If you don't think it can happen, it sure can happen. And there was a book I was telling y'all about. I didn't know, so I just got another one. For anybody that's interested in the United Nations and Black folks and how the Boule, almost 80 years ago, basically 80 years ago, the Boule decided to betray Black people. This book sort of has the history. 80 years ago, the Boule decided to be against reparations. And the Boule recognized that what Black people were going through was like genocidal. And in exchange for government jobs, crumbs, and white liberal pats on the ass, they decided to adopt a civil rights agenda that didn't really address Black people's problems. You can get some of the background history and Carol Anderson's book, Eyes Off the Prize. This is a highly recommended book. I got a really inexpensive copy off Amazon, of which at some point, you know what, I may read that. So I've got a whole, I got so many different books, and I'm just sorting through all my dad's books. I can't wait. And once I do that, I'll be able to really just, from here on out, just grab and do by topic or subject, and there could be some unity to it. So anyway, everybody, it's heading towards 8 o'clock. I want to wish you all MFM. White Jesus loves you because you won't follow a Black one. You don't want unity. You don't want to be a Black people. You don't want a Black family. You don't want a Black man. You don't want a Black woman. You don't want Black kids. You don't want Black skin. You don't want normal hair. Not happy with your behind. You need tattoos. You don't want to live around. So, I'm hoping, at least be consistent. Don't tell me Jesus is Black when in reality in your head, you worship him. And you want to be like him. You reject the revolutionary Black Jesus. You hate him. He's asking for too much. He's asking for you to love your Black neighbor. You love your white neighbor who hates you. After all, no slave bites the hand that whips him. Y'all have been well trained. So I want to wish you guys all MFM until we get together. MFM to everybody. God bless and keep you. May his face shine upon you. By no means is anything said in this platform to encourage hatred against any group of people other than self-defense, self-protection, self-preservation. It's a God-given right to which I owe no one an apology. You guys have a great evening if you don't rejoin me when I come back. Thank you for supporting the Angry Black Men's Book Club. You know that you can always send whatever you want. You can send me an email at wrandyshort@gmail.com if you have questions about books, research, genealogy. You can just send me an email to say hi, because we can't really interact in this format. You can also use that same email, wrandyshort@gmail.com, as a PayPal or a Zelle. It's wrandyshort@gmail.com. And if you want, I always like Patreon supporters. That's Dr. Randy Short, DrRandyShort. That is my Patreon. It is also my Venmo, DrRandyShort. Also, $ Dr. Randy Short, DrRandyShort is my Cash App, Dr. Randy Short. Much of what I use, much of what I do with whatever donations go, are towards buying materials to share with audiences and building an archive and doing genealogical research. If you've written me in the past and I didn't hear from you, I had a lot of stuff, emails lost, text messages lost because of phone and this, that, and the other. But absolutely, let me hear from you if you'd like to talk or communicate. But remember one thing, I respect others. I command respect. If I'm not respected, I don't have to put up with it. I don't mistreat people. I'm not trying to use or cast aspersion on anyone that doesn't deserve it. If you're wed to one political party or the other, you and I may not get along. As I was critical of Elon Musk and other Republicans, I'm also critical of Democrats. I'm critical of black men and black women. There are no sacred cows. So, it's 8 o'clock. God bless and keep you. May his face shine upon you and give you real peace. Turn to God, and God will turn to you. There's nothing too great for God. Even black freedom, restoration, repair, and reparation is within God's hands. Reparations will start with repairing your relationship with God and with one another, and watch everything fall into line. Take care for now. I'm gone. Bye-bye.